Here's a shot we can use for the example of painting. So there's a scar on the face right here and a smiley face that could be removed. So first you would press lockdown. And here's the stabilized pre-comp. We'll delete the checkerboard. And this is what the stabilized mesh looks like. Yes, it looks very strange, but the idea is that if you look at the scar here and the smiley face here, as well as everything else in the frame, it's staying completely still, so that way when you paint over it, the paint will move with it, in a manner of thinking. So this is the layer that we have to paint on. This is the stabilized layer. However, you'll notice it's a guide layer. That's because normally you don't want this to render because you're just adding graphics over the top. But in this case, you do because you're making modification to the pixels on this layer. So set it to not be a guide layer. And you probably want to pre-compose it moving all attributes into the new comp. It just seems to update more smoothly when painting. This isn't a mandatory step, but I like to do it. So I'll clone stamp that out, as well as the scar. And whatever food is hanging out right here. Looking down at my paint settings, I just have to make sure that my paint strokes extend to both ends of the comp, start to finish. And maybe I can clean up any little remaining area there that I missed before. And now when I play this back, those areas have been cleaned up. Maybe I'll adjust this first one, just to line up the wrinkles a little bit better. So you can see it's basically that easy. One thing you might notice is on some frames you might see just the thinnest black outline. So for example here, this is admittedly a bug where the end of the stabilized mesh doesn't quite reach the borders of the unstabilized mesh. The easiest way to deal with this is inside of the stabilized pre-comp, you can throw on a matte choker. So you can go to Effect, Matte, Simple Choker, and 2 pixels should do it to just eat away at that edge. Probably though, an even cleaner way if you want to make your life easier is take a look at the area. So here and there, that's where we painted, and make a solid. And just mask over these areas. And set this layer to stencil alpha. And of course, turn the paint back on. So when we move back to the main comp, those borders aren't there because this layer only contains these 3 areas. You could probably feather those out too. Let's just take a look at this. So there's before, there's after. And here's a before and after.